We're going to talk about pain in the joints for patients who have end-stage renal disease and also an herb called Han Fang Ji. Now, one of the probably under-recognized symptoms that patients with renal failure who are on dialysis have is joint pain. There's lots of different complications with renal failure, electrolyte problems, acid base, fluid accumulation, shortness of breath, pulmonary edema. There's a huge list of problems that can happen. Um, and a lot of times, from a Western medicine perspective, we tend to be focusing on the kind of the bigger issues in terms of the numbers and the labs and anemia and all these other things. But one thing that does affect the quality of life for a lot of patients with end-stage renal disease is joint pain. And it's kind of under-recognized and undertreated for all the reasons I just said. There's a lot of other things that the doctors may be trying to work on and address instead. There's a wide variety of different things that can cause joint pain in patients with renal failure. The uric acid levels in the body can cause amyloidosis. You can have renal osteodystrophy. But what I wanted to talk about was more from a Chinese medicine perspective. Now, in Chinese medicine, one of the things that causes joint pain is fluid accumulation and specifically water, or what we would term dampness in Chinese medicine. And whether you have renal failure or not, this can be a problem where you have accumulation of dampness and fluid, and it accumulates into the joints and it causes pain. Now, when we say fluid accumulates in the joints, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to see a lot of water, or you might not even necessarily notice your joint being swollen or puffy or anything like that. But from a Chinese medicine perspective, you can have um, microscopic levels of edema, fluid that is affecting the joints and causing you to have joint pain. It can be impossible to diagnose from a Western medicine perspective. But in Chinese medicine, if you have symptoms of um, improper fluid metabolism and dampness in the body, along with joint pains, then this is something that we would consider as part of your differential diagnosis. And I wanted to talk about this herb, Han Fang Ji. And it's an herb that literally the translation is to preserve the earth yin energy. And what that means is in Chinese medicine, the spleen is considered the earth organ, and it gets affected by dampness. And so when you have an herb that is said to preserve the earth, it means it treats dampness. And Han Fang Ji is an herb that it helps to get rid of the dampness in the body, and also helps to get rid of wind in the body. And both of those are factors that can cause the pain in joints. So if you have uh, a situation where your joint pain is caused in Chinese medicine from fluid and from wind and dampness, and then that's a scenario where Han Fang Ji is a useful herb to treat that condition. And so in cases of end-stage renal disease, that may be part of the problem. Obviously, in once you have renal failure, you have problems with water metabolism and accumulation of fluids. And so you can have joint pain related to Han Fang Ji type symptoms. So again, always you have to take into account your unique scenario and what's going on in totality with your body before we prescribe you herbs or give you any sort of treatment. At Houston Acupuncture, we always give um, a very customized approach to each one of our patients. So if you'd like to learn more, you can find out more about us at www.houstonacupuncture.com, and we will see you next time. Thank you.